There's the dollar melting away below 98. It's now at its lowest level since March of 2022. And it's down about 10% against a basket of currencies year to date, as you can see there. Outflows fueled by the president's trade policies, rising odds of a Fed cut, and more. Our next guest, though, knows it's good news for another asset class, the rise of crypto. Mike Novogratz is founder and CEO of Galaxy Digital. They also had an IPO lately, Mike. It's good to see you again. I think, what was the high we hit on Bitcoin, like 110? And it's odd how little attention that even gets anymore.
You know, Bitcoin's become a macro asset. And so one of the great things is most people have it on their screen next to gold and silver and the S&P. And, you know, I think back 10 years ago when people thought we were crazy. And now it's an institutionalized macro asset. And, you know, it goes from 110 to 107. That's 3%. That's within the realm of volatility. It's not newsworthy. Now, if you own a lot of Bitcoin, it is. But broadly, I think one of the great things is it's just become institutionalized.
Yeah, I do have one question about this. I thought Bitcoin looked absolutely stellar back during the early April Sell America kind of weak dollar trade. In fact, it might have sold off at the same time. But you know my point. Like, as we've seen a lot of diversification away from U.S. dollar, all these things, people are going into gold. They are going into Bitcoin. It's showing that it can be a stalwart in that sense. But the world is starting to get back, for better or worse, to a little bit of normal. Like, kind of, it feels like that whole period never happened.
You think so?
I wonder, right? Because then you look at the dollar and you're like, maybe not. So I'd love for you to just kind of like break this down for us.
Listen, we are in a dollar bear market. For the last 15 years, American exceptionalism was the story. Europeans were wildly overweight and Asians wildly overweight the U.S. stock market. And we have a administration that wants a weaker dollar. They're pretty clear about it. You know, even in the way Trump negotiates, and you can argue if it's successful or not successful, but by telling Canada they want to be the 51st state and, you know, telling people that they come here to kiss his rear end, it doesn't engender people to say, oh, I want to buy more dollars. And so we're having people reweight their portfolios away from the dollar. You've got a time where we're talking about having a shadow Fed share, right? There's a lot of talk that the administration is going to pre-pick, in essence, Jay Powell's replacement and have him go side by side with Jay Powell. That's not good for the dollar, right? That's not institutional. And so I think one of the easier trades, and I think most macro funds are having a great year, is they're short the dollar. They're long the euro, they're long the yen, they're long Aussie, there's long a basket of currencies. Well, Bitcoin, you know, gold, silver, platinum, they all fall into that same category as something that's not the dollar.
It's interesting because Bitcoin, there's theoretically going to mine 21 million of them. Right, Mike? And in your company, Galaxy Digital, by the way, I think one thing people get wrong a lot on my side of the camera is that you're also a power company. You've got Helios out in Texas, going to grow that as well. It's part of the whole story. You got to make the power. Is there a bull case for not finding any more Bitcoin? I know it probably will be found, but if more of something is bad...
No, there's no more Bitcoin. Like what's unique about Bitcoin as an asset is it was created with 21 million coins total. Period. End of story. There'll never be more than that.
But not all those have been mined, is my point.
Most of them, lots of them have been lost. There have been more Bitcoin lost than will be mined for the rest of eternity. And so you've got this idea of a fixed supply of something. And more people are being brought into the Bitcoin tent. More and more people are realizing this is a story that they want to care about. And so once Larry Fink said BlackRock's getting behind this, right? All that pushing the snowball uphill that started rolling downhill. And now we've got all these treasury companies buying Bitcoin. We've got sovereign wealths buying Bitcoin. We've got retail investors buying Bitcoin. There's easier ways to get it. And so the adoption of Bitcoin as a macro asset, as an asset to save money in, I think that's now a ball rolling downhill. And the bull case becomes that over time, young people care about it more than old people. And so gold slowly gets replaced by Bitcoin. And so, you know, if you look at gold's market cap and Bitcoin's market cap, Bitcoin has a long way to go, right? 10x.
Wow.
And so that's 1 million Bitcoin just to be where gold is. And I think gold could go from 3,000 to 10,000.